Hey fam, it's Tony with Catfish Hunting Club again. We are going to wrap this broadhead test up for now by finishing tonight with some mechanicals. But first, a little bit about how the box is going to be set up, the rig. Just like in the fixed blade test, it'll be 5/4 inch sheets of plywood. But this time we are going to add some cardboard in the mix so that we can see what these broadheads look like as they're going through this little test setup. Are they fully opened? Did we lose a blade? What stage did we lose the blade at? Just how much abuse will they take? So what's going to happen is here on the front of the target, we've got this butcher paper, and this is light enough that it shouldn't open up any of the broadheads. I've done a little bit of testing, and so far it hasn't opened anything up on the butcher paper. Then it'll hit this first sheet of plywood, and that's when it should open up and we should start doing some damage. But right after that first sheet, we're going to have about a 3/8 thick piece of cardboard in between there to see what that cut looks like after that first bit of damage. Then we're going to do the same thing after the second board. And if it makes it through all of those, we will have one more piece lined up right in there just to see what that cut still looks like after it goes through all of this. And if it goes through all this and it's still all together, then we'll give it a little free pass to go through these last couple pieces of board and see if any of them actually make it all the way through. Now, a fixed blade would probably make it through, and I'd have no doubt about it. But with these mechanicals, they open up a little bit wider, and I don't know. I mean, are they going to make it through or are they not? I mean, will they stop second, third? We're going to have to find out. But here in just a few minutes, I'll cover the broadheads that we're going to go over. And yeah, we'll get ready to kick this pig. All right, so let's kick this off. Let me tell you a little bit about the sticks that I'm going to be putting these broadheads on first. These are the UltraView UV1K, and this is a 250 spine. These arrows were meticulously put together so that every single one of them is 500 grains, 500.0. End of story. No deviations, no differences. Every single one of them weighs the exact same according to this scale right here. So if it's off, don't blame me. What we have first is one that I have never shot before. It is the Grim Reaper Fatal Steel. 100 grain, 1.25 inch cut, 1.9 inch total cut. And this is a pretty mean looking customer. I heard about it from on Podium Archer, MFJJ. He swears by him, or at least he used to. I think he's on to something else now. But this is the Fatal Steel. And it's exactly what it says it is. Steel. And it's fatal. The next item up for bid is the Slick Trick Assailant. Now, I had seen these many moons ago, and finally just ran across them and decided, you know what? Let's check these things out, see what they're all about. They do use a rubber band or an O-ring to keep the blades in while it's in flight, and then they have cutters back here, so it's technically a hybrid, but it is also 100 grain, and I really don't know a whole lot about them, never seen them work, but we're about to. All right, so the third entry into this lineup is the Sever Titanium 1.5. It has a total of, what is that, 2.2 inch total cut, and you got your bleeders up here, and then these will expand when that O-ring breaks. These blades will deploy and lock in place, and it swivels as it goes through. So theoretically, it'll swivel when it goes around bone, and then as it starts to go into soft tissue, we'll go back to normal and just start cutting them guts. Yeah, Sever Titanium 1.5. A lot of folks like these. This one was actually given to me by a buddy at work who wanted to see how this would fare in the test. A couple of bleeders right here, and big old cut on this bad boy. We'll see if it'll hold up. Okay, so the fourth entry into tonight's contest is actually one that's near and dear to my heart. This is the Speed Titanium. 2025 was the first year I ever elk hunted, and this is what I used, and it laid that bull down in about 80 yards. That's all the further he made it. It was a perfect quartering away broadside shot. We pulled the heart out, and the cut looked exactly like that. Now, I did not find the broadhead. I do not know what it looked like after the fact, but I know that it did its job when it needed to. So I've done some testing with it besides that, and it's a pretty durable head. These blades are very thick. It is a 2-inch cut, 100 grain, titanium, and it's a good blade, man. It says these are the easiest to deploy of any mechanical on the market. That's what we market it as. So we will see how it does today and how it holds up going through our test rig. Last but not least, we have the Beast cut on contact. These blades deploy at over 940 miles per hour, according to Mr. Bomar. That looked like 940 miles an hour to me. And they conveniently put these nice little gloves in there so that you do not cut yourself because you can. You'll have to trust me on that, and you can watch several other broadhead testers out there who have actually bled for this thing. This is a 2-inch cut. It claims to be the world's sharpest mechanical, and the thing about it is once it deploys, it can actually spring back closed to 60% of its total opening width so that it can make it through with its bone evading technology. The one little piece of advice I would give about this broadhead right here is that they say to make sure you pop it open, same as I have done. Pop the thing open and make sure it will actually deploy, because there has been stories that some of them get stuck. Now, it's a small price to pay if you can actually avoid the bone, and as soon as it gets through, it opens back up and just decimates the insides. So that's what we all want ultimately, is quick, clean, ethical harvest of our animals, right? So the Beast cut on contact titanium. And we'll see how far all of these penetrate, how well they hold up, and see you on the other side. All right, so first glance, here's what it looks like. None of them deployed through the butcher paper, so that's good news. Everything was closed up in flight. Now we'll come through the back and see that all 5 of them actually made it through to the 5th board. Now, some penetrated a little further than the others, but I need to pull all this apart and see if they actually stayed open throughout the whole deal. And I will be right back. All right, so here's what we got. I'm seeing it as you're seeing it, so there'll be some surprises for me too. So we've got the Fatal Steel, the Slick Trick Assailant, the Sever 1.5 titanium, the Speed, the one that got my elk for me, and the Beast cut on contact. Now, at first glance, the Speed has won on penetration, but only by a centimeter. I mean, it's not by much at all. The Speed, the Sever, and the Beast cut on contact are all right there neck and neck. I'm actually a little surprised by the Slick Trick because I had done some other testing with it before, and there were different results. I'll just say that. And the Fatal Steel, having never shot that, and this being the only 3-bladed entry into the contest, I'm actually a little surprised, but I guess I shouldn't be, because MFJJ, he knows what he's talking about, usually. So let's see. We know that everything deployed, everything held together, and no pieces shot off at me. So let me get my little finger mittens on here. I want to pull that beast out real quick since it's the only one that has a spring in it. It's the only one that I need to see if that spring is still functioning. Oh, there we go. Oh, the hybrid portion of the slick trick just fell off, but that's because the O-ring's no longer there. All right, let's see if this bad boy still works. Oop, a little loose. How about that? The tip is in excellent shape. No dings, nothing's peeling off. I don't even see any blade chatter. There you go. Beast cut on contact as advertised. What do we got next? We have the Speed Titanium. I'll try to work that out. Oh, there we go. All right, let's see if this one will open and close. All right, it goes back closed. And looks like it opens. Speed Titanium. As advertised. No blade chatter. No twist in the blades. Meaning when it went through and it was still doing its spin, nothing bent in blades. That's good news. And then what do we got? We have the Sever, which was neck and neck with the other ones. See if we can get it out. It's got them bleeders, so it might be a little more difficult. There we go. Okay, so it looks like that's what I meant earlier by the pivoting action as it goes through. Not too shabby. And I don't even see any issues with the bleeders. Sever, good stuff. Had no idea. I should have listened to Pilks. And then we have the Slick Trick. Let's see if we can get that out. Should be able to. It's just kind of just like a spike. It's in there. There we go. And there's nothing wrong with that chisel tip. And there's only a little bit of chatter on the blades. There's a little dent right here that I can see. And then the bleeder portion of it. Just a little bit of blade chatter on those. All in all, it held up pretty well to this test. And we'll see if we can get out the Grim Reaper Fatal Steel. If I can figure out how to screw this arrow on here. All right. Grim Reaper Fatal Steel. That is out of the wood. I see no issues with the Grim Reaper Fatal Steel. The blades are looking good. Just a little bit of scuffing, not even chatter, just a little bit of scuff on there. Probably sharpen those up and throw them right back to quiver. So it looks like everything survived really well. Now let's take a look at the wood. This is the 5th piece, and not much really to tell there. That's where their story ended. Let's see. There's the Grim Reaper Fatal Steel, fully opened, and the 4th block. This is the, which one was this? This was the Slick Trick, I believe. I have to look that up. Yeah, it was Fatal Steel, Slick Trick, Sever, Speed, and Beast. And you can see the Beast is not open a full 2 inches like the Speed is. The Speed is going from here to here. The Beast going from here to here, and that is not 2 inches. So it is doing what it says it's going to do. Now let's look at the cardboard. Fatal Steel, Slick Trick, Sever, Speed. Now the Beast wasn't all the way open right here, but it is back here. That's pretty cool. So you know that the Beast, cut on contact, is opening up inside your animal. But that Speed is maintaining a huge 2-inch cut all the way through. Your Sever did really well. Actually, everything did pretty daggone good. Now, same here. Fatal Steel, Slick Trick, Sever, Speed, cut on contact, Beast. Look at that wide open when it hit. Man, this is just some impressive broadheads out there. Same story. Now this is different. So you've got on the second board, this is your Grim Reaper. This is your Slick Trick. This is your Sever. And this is your Speed. And this is your Beast. Your Speed is not fully deployed. That's interesting. What's the cardboard tell us? Yeah. Cardboard tells us the same thing. Speed is not fully deployed in the first or the second board, first piece of cardboard, and also not on the first board. That's really interesting. So then you've got, none of them actually are really fully deployed on the first board though, so maybe we give it a pass. But you've got the Fatal Steel, that kind of looks like a bullet hole right there. Then you've got the Slick Trick, also kind of like a bullet hole, just a couple of wings right there. Your Sever, it's not fully deployed upon hitting that. Speed, we already discussed that. The one that appears to be the widest is your Beast, cut on contact. Yeah, and then going into the first piece of cardboard, your Fatal Steel is completely open. Your Slick Trick is not quite there yet, but it's on its way. Sever is not quite fully open yet. Speed, definitely not fully open yet. Beast cut on contact, it is in second place behind the Fatal Steel as far as being fully open. And then you come back to the second board before you've got fully open on your Sever, fully open as far as it should be on your Speed. I'm sorry, your Beast, cut on contact. Speed, not fully open. Sever, kind of, it's hard to tell. But the Sever is definitely, no, the Sever is fully open by the second board. And let me see that. What did I do with this one here? So that is also not fully open, but that's okay. I wasn't trying to call that one out or nothing, but looks like your Grim Reaper is the one that's going to give you the most open on contact broadhead, at least in this test. Now on an animal could be completely different, because I can tell you firsthand knowledge that the Speed Titanium, when I used it on my elk, the wound channel on the outside was exactly as advertised. Just saying. So my test might not be the best gauge for this, but it is a pretty good gauge of durability and showing you what it looks like when it's going through the different mediums here. all in all, looks like the speed was the deepest penetrating, but when it's not opening until the second piece of cardboard, it's fully open on the second piece of cardboard. That's that much. I don't know. Make up your own mind. I'm just some redneck out here doing arrow tests with broadheads, shooting them really fast. But yeah, I guess for my money at the moment, it's either going to be the Sever, the Grim Reaper Fatal Steel. That's pretty impressive. I didn't know it would do that. Josh Jones, thanks, man. But probably, honestly, I really like that Beast Cut on Contact because the way that she opened and closed as it went through the different medium, and you can see that in the cardboard, that's pretty freaking cool. So, all in all, I'd use any one of these to hunt. Maybe not a moose or an elk, but 100% mule deer, whitetail, bear. Yeah, they're all going to get the job done for you. But until next time, this is Tony with Catfish Hunting Club. Oh, one more thing. The average speed on that was 299.5 foot per second. So these arrows were screaming for a 500 grain arrow. I was shooting them with my Matthews arc, 80-pound pole, 30-inch draw. And the first couple were actually above 300. And I've done this test with the broadheads. I'm sorry, with field tips, and my bow shoots consistently right around 303. So it might have been the angle I was holding around the Garmin. Plus, I'm shooting inside, so that will affect your speed rating also. But we'll just say these blades were all flying right around 300 foot per second, and every one of them came out apparently ready to rock. So Beast, Slick Trick, Sever, Grim Reaper, Speed. Thanks for making good products, y'all, and looking forward to hunting with them. Till then, y'all have a good one.